I need a 30 for 30 to show that I'm different like Jordan and Pippen. I need a 30 for 30 like Jalen and Webber. Nobody gon' fuck on my click. I need a 30 for 30. All right, America, I'm glad to have my brother Ray Leo here with us again for another one of Ray's takes. And don't forget, he is the pulse of Cowboys Nation. And I think he has proved that over the past, just the other day. Leo, go ahead and let them know why I say that, dog.
So, yeah, man, just had an opportunity to talk to Stephen Jones, the executive vice president of the Dallas Cowboys. For you all that don't know, he's the son of Jerry Jones, the owner, but he makes all the draft decisions. They say Jerry Jones really makes all the draft decisions. Emmitt Smith, I had a chance to talk to him. If you don't know Emmitt Smith, you don't know football. I should not have to read out his accolades. One of the greatest running backs of all time, the all-time leading rusher. But again, if you didn't know that ahead of time, then this is probably the wrong show for you anyway. At the end of the day, I got a chance to sit down and have a real conversation with these guys, and not face-to-face. We did it virtually, obviously, because we're in the age of COVID. But it was just nice to see. It was a Q&A panel. I really didn't have an expectation of having that opportunity, but it was cool when I did. The way that I did was they had a trivia session, and they said the people who answered the most questions correctly would move up to the top of the queue. Well, I only missed one because I am, as well says the post of Cowboys Nation. I know my guys. I know my guys, man. So I only got one wrong, and I was only a year off on it. So I'll take a half a point for that, Alex, if you will. But it was cool, man. Just got a chance to pick their brains between the questions that were asked before I got a chance to get on and the question that I asked, which specifically was what was their pre-game preparation, their ritual. Now, I know that sounds weird from a GM president standpoint, so we'll get to that part second. But from the player standpoint, and Emmitt, he talked about he put his uniform on, hours before a game. But most guys aren't doing that. They're just kind of hanging out, getting some pregame work in, taping or whatever. And he said he put his whole uniform on because he wanted to visualize what that would be like, right? He wanted to visualize what that would be like to make those plays in that uniform. Mental preparation. I think that's something that we, not us, but like the general public doesn't take into account, that this game is mental. So he would sit and prepare his mind for what's about to happen. And then I like the fact that he said, his routine is kind of weird when it comes to music. When I played and we listen to music, it was something to kind of get you going, right? But his music was very much, I start off with hip hop, and then as you get closer and closer to kickoff, I'm listening to gospel music. So he's like, he wanted his whole mindset to be calm because he knew it was about to be chaos, and he needed his brain to be like laser focused when he got out there. So I thought that was kind of unique perspective. And if it worked for Emmitt, it should work for anybody. This man is one of the greats. So, I mean, it's not like it's a fluke type thing. He also has God-given ability, so that helps too. Stephen Jones, I thought was really cool. From a GM perspective, I'm thinking to myself, like, what do you do before a game? Because you would say the work is done for his standpoint, once it's game day. Well, for him, it's the whole game day operation. He's making sure that things are flowing, from start to finish, whether it be players getting what they need in terms of meals, making sure that medical staff and medical needs are there, status for guys who may be kind of up in the air, those game time decisions. What does that look like, right? Not so much in the game plan and preparation, because that's the coaching staff, but the way he looked at it is, what can he do to help the game day flow smoothly for the players? At that point, he says he's all about being a support system. I thought that was kind of unique in seeing a guy who's worth a ridiculous amount of money and has a ridiculous amount of power to say he's a part now of a support system of the guys that report to him on game day. So that was kind of unique to hear. They talked about draft picks, right? They talked about expectations with Dak Prescott coming back, which I thought was cool. To get that perspective from a guy who's on the ground with Dak every single day. He said he looks good, looks much more improved, much more relaxed, and an understanding of what the expectation is for him. They talked about Micah Parsons, the first round draft pick, and how he's making plays in camp, and just the guy-given athletic ability that he has. And every time Stephen Jones talked about him, he was smiling ear to ear, man. It was like, I don't know. It was just like he was talking about something that really excites him. He talked about the playmaking ability, all of those things. And even Emmitt was like, man, if that was a guy that I had to face on third down, whether it be in the the pass blocking scheme as a running back, having to take on a linebacker or just trying to beat him in coverage. He was like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with it because here's a guy that can really get it done. And that kind of.
So are you putting it in permanent marker based on what they were saying about him? Putting it in permanent marker, put it on some NFC East title?
Well, here's what I'll take away from it. I was one of the guys that was kind of upset about the draft, right, in the first round, especially with Parsons. Now, I came back that following week for people who watched the show. I came back the following week because I had done my film study and said I was wrong, right?
Right.
The thing that kind of helped me feel even more comfortable about it was Stephen Jones, whose sole job is to do this, went into great detail about why. So obviously the Dallas Cowboys on ESPN and Fox Sports, you name it. So they're always going to have the opportunity to say why I took this guy. But for him to go into great detail the way he did for fans, it was kind of nice. And you could see that it wasn't just he was the last guy left on the big board. I truly do believe after listening to them that he was their number one pick. Like he was the top option, which is refreshing to hear, but also why. They really do have a plan for him. The guys they drafted after him, the guys they have on the roster are not just supplementary pieces. It's for people to take up blocks so this guy can go and make plays, right? That's a vision though. You can't just draft a linebacker like Micah Parsons who can go sideline to sideline, but you got blockers on him the entire game. So they went and found guys to absorb those blocks so he can go and make plays. I thought that was really refreshing. And just anytime you can, Emmitt Smith tell stories about him separating his shoulder and then coming back the next half, not the next game, the next half, and running for another 100 yards en route to like 175 yards. Or to hear him talk about what it was like to go play for the Cardinals for 1 year and then come back to Cowboys Stadium and what that emotion was like. He said it was like picking between two loves, picking between your love of the game and your love of, everything that you've been about. Because he said he was a Dallas Cowboy fan before he was even drafted. So it's literally your two loves having to battle each other. He said it was the most emotional thing that he's ever been a part of. He likened it. I didn't like the way he said this, but he likened it to when he lost his mother. He said it was the same kind of pain. He said it was the same kind of pain going into Cowboy Stadium as an Arizona Cardinal to face the Cowboys. So those are his words, not mine, man. That shows you what the Dallas Cowboys brand means to him. He also talked about, and I think this goes into what Dak is experiencing right now, the power of Dallas Cowboy branding. Emmitt Smith came into the league as just a running back. Now, yeah, his skill set put him as one of the greatest running backs of all time. I personally think Walter Payton is the greatest and then Barry Sanders. But Emmitt Smith is a bad man, all right? He doesn't get the respect that he deserves. He is the all-time leading rusher, and I don't think that record will be broken no time soon. That's just me. But because he played for the Cowboys, Emmitt Smith is now a big-time housing contractor in the state of Texas and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Why do you think that is? Because he played for the Cowboys, right? Dancing with the Stars, ESPN, commercials, deals, shoe deals, all these different things that he's been able to achieve because he played for that team. And so he talked about like the impact that that's had on his life. It's opened up doors that he couldn't imagine. So you got Dak Prescott, who just signed with the Jordan brand. That's a part of playing for the Dallas Cowboys. You went from Adidas to the Jordan brand. You had a choice. There aren't a lot of guys that have shoe deals and contract deals with teams, Team Jordan and Nike and things like that. And Dak Prescott is not Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. So that's my point. Like, simply because he plays for the Dallas Cowboys and is really good, but not the best, he has all of these doors open for him. So that's the strength of the Dallas Cowboys. My favorite part of the interview was no doubt when my son interrupted the interview, came over and put his hand over the screen so they couldn't see us. And Stephen Jones said, "Oh, that's a young Cowboy fan right there." My son took off running. I said, "Yeah, that's that young Emmitt right there. Check out that wiggle right there." Which of course drew some good laughs, man. But they were good guys. It was nice to see a human side of them. Whereas when you just see them on TV and people can be so easy to critique and criticize, me included, because I got fandom involved in it. But it was nice to see those guys kind of like as a real person, just giving their time. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have to do that. The fact that somebody who is literally worth hundreds of millions of dollars and another guy who's worth tens of millions of dollars are sitting in front of quote unquote the regular person and having a real conversation. I think that's really cool. And I think that's a unique part of Cowboy Nation too, that they can do stuff like that and engage with their fans.
Well, Cowboys Nation, we want y'all to chime in. Maybe y'all have had some interaction with your beloved Dallas Cowboys. We want to know, man. I know they try to create that fan experience down there in Jerry World. You know what I'm saying? What's the thing that you toured before?
The Star.
The Star, you know what I'm saying? So I know they try to create that full fan experience down there. So we want y'all to chime in.
The Packers trying to create the full fan experience too. They try to make sure everybody talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Hold on.
Everybody.
See my brother don't care about my mental health.
And then the 49er land. And then the 49er land. I'm just taking shots now. And then the 49er land over there in Santa Clara. They trying to make sure.
They're trying to make sure we healthy because we got 2 injuries already.
No, this is what I'm gonna ask. I wanted to ask this before Wells tried to close it out. I just want to ask one question. Now you spoke glowingly about Micah Parsons.
Okay.
But you do now
I have.
Well, we're gonna take it from the current.
Okay.
You spoke glowingly about Micah Parsons.
That's fair.
Okay. So you got a steal in the draft in Jabril Cox.
Okay.
You also got Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch that are still there.
Yep.
So are you telling me that Micah starting week 1? He's a middle linebacker, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. From the way that Steven explained it, he really is, and I don't want to use it as a cop-out, he really is a jack of all trades guy. I think my personal opinion, just the way that he kind of described it, I think he'll play more outside, just simply because he'll have a huge role in the pass rushing game. So I think he'll start off as more of an outside linebacker. But I do think he's starting day one. I think Van Der Esch, especially with the way we run sets, I think there's going to be more of a 5 DB set, which means you're only going to have like 2 linebackers at a time, maybe 3 if you do more 3-3-5 set is what I call it. So it's going to be one of those things where Micah Parsons is not taking a back seat to anybody. That's Jalen and that's Van Der Esch. Van Der Esch is still working his contract out. But he can work that out as the third linebacker.
Is okay. So my question to you is, who got to go? Because somebody gonna have to go.
Well, eventually, yes, you're right. Eventually, somebody will have to go. They say that they're trying to work out a contract with Van Der Esch. But if you're asking me today who has to go, Van Der Esch has to go. He had one good year, and that was his rookie year.
Are they running 3-4 or 4-3?
So Dan Quinn in the past has run 3-4. Okay. He can run a 4-3. He can do that as well. That's the beauty of bringing him in as we're talking about the former head coach of Atlanta. He was also the defensive coordinator in Seattle when the Legion of Boom
wait. The guy that gave y'all a game last year.
True. No, that's true. That's a fact. Okay. That's a fact.
At 3-4, then they don't have to get rid of anybody, right?
They don't have to get rid of anybody. It really just depends on what the strengths are going to be up front. And I think that's what Dan Quinn gets to see here in OTAs and his training camp starts. What does that strength look like? I personally think the strength is the linebacker core. I don't think it's so much the defensive line. So it really just depends. But I will say this: Micah Parsons does not take a back seat to anybody. He'll be a starting linebacker day one, and he'll have to come in, and guys will have to get in line and earn their paycheck.
He Ken Norton Jr.
Because he is priority one. He is Sammy Davis Jr. Jr. Excuse me. He is Dean Martin Jr. All of that. Yes, sir. Frank Sinatra Jr. Yes, sir. He's all of that.
I'll tell you what I appreciate, Ray. Because you know I'm a Niner fan, so you know we have our battles.
Yeah.
But the fact that Wells asked you, are you all gonna win the NFC East?
And what I said.
He dodged that question. You saw he probably ticked me on it.
The obnoxious Cowboy fan would have been like, NFC East, we're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you gave a very diplomatic
Always been realistic, man. Listen, as long as Adam Wells' squad still holds Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady still plays football and he plays in the NFC right now, I can never say that because those guys just know how to win, man. Now that may look different. That may look different when September comes around. I don't know.
Yeah. Rodgers might be with Denver.
Rodgers might be with Denver. Rodgers might be with San Francisco. The way that y'all do things.
Discuss it right? Like this. Y'all ain't just gotta freely just.
So that's what I'm saying. I do know this. I know we'll be much better than we were last year because I really do think a year off at Dak just to kind of sit and watch will be helpful. Nobody wants to go down for injury, clearly, but I think that will go a long way. I think the defense, as much as I don't put a lot of stock in one player changing the game, I think one player in the right situation, if you build around him, can help improve something dramatically. I think that can happen on defense, not to where we're top 10 defense, not saying that. But with the offense that we have, man, if you can just be respectable, then you can be in any game. You can be in any game that matters and any game that you should win easily. You should be in all of them, which means you have a shot at the postseason. And my thoughts have always been the same about the postseason. Once you get in, it's just about making enough plays. I think if things play a little bit differently between Green Bay and Tampa, Green Bay's in the Super Bowl. They just made a couple of
that's true.
Couple of tough plays before that half.
This segment took a terrible turn for the worse. You see, you see this, America.
But that's the reality. That's how tight the NFL. The NFL is not so much where the best team is that much better than the worst team. It's not. It's not like the NBA. It's not even like the MLB. The NFL is built on mediocrity. They set it up that way. So it really just comes down to getting in the playoffs and not blowing big time moments. The Cowboys are used to blowing big time moments, so that's why we don't have the best of results here lately. But I think that can change. And it is my hope that Aaron Rodgers goes play somewhere else because I get to move up in the pecking order. That was just one last shot before we get out of here.
Gotcha.
Man said, gotcha. And he just went off.
He gone.
And the host is gone, everybody. So look, if you want to know what it's all about with the Pulse of Cowboys Nation.
Right. Close it out.
That's how Wills would end it. He would say, if you want to know about the Pulse of Cowboy Nation, or if you want to talk about what you think the Cowboys are going to do, hit us up. Put it on something, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know what you think. All right.
Yeah.
There it is. We appreciate y'all.
He'll be back next segment.
That's what he said.
My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me across all social media platforms. Like the videos and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit Statement Tees, LLC.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.